Starting with unpaid, I mean, that's where you really have to start in the media industry. You need to look at internships while you're a student, finding out and doing multiple internships. And then after that, it's kind of figuring out, all right, what's the next step from that? All the big networks have what they call a PAGE program, where they pay you minimum wage, but they train you at the same time in equipment and stuff like that. The Television Academy, for example, has the college television awards. So it's just like kind of figuring out like what programs are being offered to students to make the contacts. It would be my recommendation. I think the biggest trend is that the industry is changing so fast. I mean, there's a new piece of technology that comes out, it seems like every single month. So I think the hard part, even for me as a studio manager, is knowing, okay, when do I change cameras? When do I buy a new switcher? When do I buy a new audio board? When do I buy a GoPro? When do I change the lights? Like technology changes so fast with computers. I mean, with the iPad, with tablets, when that exploded, when now the big thing is the watches. Like things change so quickly. So it's just being, I think the biggest trend is staying on top of technology and information, because what you use to record and film with now, you might not be using the same thing in a year or two from now. What you learn to edit it in school might change by the time you are in the industry for a year or two. And that's really hard as things move rather quickly. As far as media goes, it really doesn't matter to them if you have a master's degree or not, in all honesty, as they're just looking for that. Can you do the job? Can you get it done? And can you do it efficiently? And if you have a bachelor's degree and do that, that's all they're really looking for. If you want a master's degree, yeah, it might help you. For some, it might look better, but they don't really care about that as much in the industry. I always say, get a master's degree if you want to hone your skills more, because when I went to my master's, all I was doing was working on production. For me, it helped me a lot to get my skills perfected. Also, if you end up wanting to teach media, that helps too, getting a master's degree. Also, getting certified, like for example, in the video editing program. The test usually costs no more than $100, and then you can add that's something else to add on your resume. So seeing what programs. As far as jobs go, I mean, it was just working in the field for a little bit, some internships, some working freelance and stuff. Working at a post-production house, Northern Lights Post, helped me a lot. Seeing how fast the industry goes and what the expectations that they have for a full-time editor, that really helped me and that molded me. Working for a sports team like the New York Islanders for a season and working on the games and the post-production and stuff like that really helped me understand how the media industry works as far as filming goes, but how it could be so different from film and television when it's for news. So that helped me a lot in that respect. And also the professors I have, I would say the experiences. I mean, I had really good professors, dating all the way back when I was getting my associate's degree at Manhattan Community College. I mean, my first professor was this woman named Tish Hill. At first day of class, she made us take out a pencil and say, you'll be 20 minutes early to every class, and when you get here, you'll start setting up. And that really helped me because, it taught me to be, I always say to my students, if you're 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late. I mean, I'm always the first one here, the last one to go for the most part. It really helped me to take everything I do in my career and my job pretty seriously, because I had professors that took it seriously, and it also helped me navigate and make connections and earn the trust of my peers. Thick skin. I mean, you get yelled at. If you're working in the control room, you have to be laid back. If you're on production, there's people yelling at you, there's people cursing at you, and you can't be somebody that takes those things really seriously. You have to trust yourself, and you have to have confidence in your skills and your ability. You have that. You're learning that here. You just have to know that you can get it. Late, long hours. I mean, you see it now. I work double shifts every day. I mean, because I have so many students working on productions. I got to teach, I got to grade, but I also have to work on all these films and editing and all that stuff. And that's just like that in the industry too. I mean, if I'm working in the industry, I might be on set at 3 in the morning because I got to film. If I'm working news is 24/7. My friend Dana, who just won an Academy Award, who came to visit our class last semester, she didn't have any holidays off. She had to work every single holiday. And that's some of the sacrifices you make. Researching, going to the websites that talk about camera equipment, going to the websites that talk about technology, magazines, like in the New Media Lab. I have a ton. Look at that stack on the floor, Rebecca. All those are magazines that I get mailed to me all the time that I just haven't gone through yet, that talk about equipment and gear and technology and what's affecting the industry. So know what magazines to read too. There's a ton of literature out there. Video Maker, Post Magazine, Digital Film, Student Filmmaker. There's a ton of magazines and articles that you can read to help give you some other perspectives besides mine. I think that it's creative. I like that I get to work on all these films with students. Besides working on very creative projects with the students and watching their ideas from beginning and seeing it all the way to the end. One-on-one with students, it's not like a class where you just see a professor on Monday, Wednesday, and then you guys maybe not even have a conversation unless it's at your grade. I mean, I physically work with my students one-on-one on their films, on their editing, for like, 10 hours a day? So, I mean, I really get to work and get to know my students on a personal level, which I think helps the relationship with me when I'm working on projects with them, and also gets them comfortable working on the equipment and these big, large-scale projects at the same time. There's something you absolutely, as a teacher, you learn something new every day. And even if when you're in your career, to go off that for a second before I answer it, I don't care if you're a video editor, you're going to learn a new technique. I don't care if you're somebody doing business, if you're in nursing. The whole point is bettering yourself. You should never stay stagnant. It's always, how can I better my skills and improve my skills to take it to the next level? This semester, maybe not technology-wise, but I learned, I was kind of doing a paper just like you for your seminar where you had done. I just did a larger scale one that was like 100 pages. I learned how to code tweets, which was interesting. I thought that you could just study them and just kind of come up with your own way of doing things. But I learned how to decode a tweet, how does a tweet affect somebody, and with their words on the page, what they're actually trying to convey. That was really beneficial. My advice would be is work hard. Just always offer, I mean, it's so cliche to say, but it really is. Always offer to help out, work on anything. Show that you have passion, show that you really want to be there, that you're not nervous about it, that you really want to be there and work at it. And if you have the drive and the hard work and you put the hours in, and you're always improving your skills and bettering yourself, you'll go far. I mean, that's really the key to being successful in it.